Hey everybody, it's Rebecca Johnson of Supergirl Radio. We're going to get started here officially in a few minutes. So I'm just going to hang out here with the people in the live chat. So if people are going to be watching live, feel free to ask me any questions about Supergirl Radio, about the topic that we're going to discuss for this live stream and for this week's episode of Supergirl Radio, which is the Cancer Gets Lost charity auction, which I'm very excited about because it's for a good cause. And also, there's a lot of cool stuff in the auction that people may want to bid on. So we will be talking about that. Well, we're also going to be covering some news. So if you wait until after our interview with Jo from Cancer Gets Lost, we're going to be doing news at the end. Usually we do it at the beginning. This time we're going to do it at the end. So we've got a couple of news items. One that has been making sort of the rounds on social media today about the Earth Prime Batwoman #1 issue. So we've gotten some messages about that regarding a character that appears, a Supergirl character who appears in that issue. So we will get to that in the news section. I see that Morgan is here. Are you ready to go? Thumbs up, good to go. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in just for a second so that we can check your audio, make sure everything's okay.
Hello. That was just me dying, but that wasn't the audio. Okay? No, I'm hanging in there.
You're like that kitten. Kitten
I am. Just barely.
Well, all right. Well, you sound good, other than the dying part.
Speaking.
Yes. So, all right. So we'll get started here and with our intro, and then we'll get to speaking with Jo from Cancer Gets Lost. So we'll get started here after our official intro is over.
Leslalar's downfall is just that eyebrow twitch that she can't help doing. Could you imagine if Hope was like, let's add that to the PowerPoint? Excuse
what
me?
Year is it?
How old am I? This is how a podcast breaks up.
This is the last episode of Supergirl Radio. You want a Kryptonian? You got one.
Is it a movie about saving Argo? The answer to that one is no. It's called Witch for a Summer! ! Where does she want to go? Ask her. Talk to her. Really commune with flat Supergirl.
Did we set the bar too high or too low?
I think we set the bar real medium.
You're an intensely adequate podcast.
Thank you. Good.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Noyce, and you're listening to Supergirl Radio.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira.
I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yes! Welcome to Supergirl Radio, your source for all things related to the CW Supergirl TV series and the character of Kara Zor-El. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Morgan Glennon.
And for this episode of the podcast, we are live and wired on the Supergirl Radio Facebook page and the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel to learn about the Cancer Gets Lost charity auction with co-founder Jo. And is it Garfein or Garfein?
It's Garfein.
Garfein. I meant to ask you earlier, and I always try to make sure that we pronounce people's names correctly because I'm not a big fan of it when I'm referred to as Rachel. So I like to make sure. You'd be surprised how many Rachels I get. So Garfein. Okay, so we are with Jo Garfein of Cancer Gets Lost, which is a charity auction going on right now. So we're going to be talking about that for this episode of Supergirl Radio. So welcome to the podcast, Jo. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a great joy, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you about not only the charity auction, but the items from your universe, which is the DC TV universe, that are in the auction and the kind cast and crew who have donated them.
Yeah, we are definitely going to be talking about the DC items, but we may have some Lost bleed over. I am also a big Lost fan. Morgan and I talk about Lost a surprising amount on Supergirl.
We work it in on Supergirl Radio as much as possible. We're like, how is this Lost related?
Fair.
And not only how is this Lost related, how can we make it Lost related?
Welcome to my world.
So we may talk about some of that too. I don't know. But thank you for being with us to talk about this very important charity auction that y'all have got going on right now. But before we get into talking about the Cancer Gets Lost charity auction, there is a question that we always ask our first-time guests on Supergirl Radio. It's something that we, just like to kind of get the baseline for people when they come on to to a Supergirl podcast. And that question is, how did you meet the character of Supergirl? Do you remember the first time maybe you saw Supergirl or you heard about Supergirl? Do you remember that first time?
For me, because I'm old, #old, it would be the Helen Slater Supergirl. And so that's how I was introduced to that character. At that time, I don't think I'd read any of the comic books, but I was a huge fan of that movie, and I still think it's pretty great. And so is she. As for the show, a lot of people I know were watching it and talking about it on social media. So that's when I started watching it. And I'm a huge fan of Alex Danvers. So that is what keeps me there.
Yeah, Morgan and I actually had a debate about Supergirl, the movie, that you might be interested in. we had a formal debate.
We did. I was like, what is this movie that I'm watching?
Morgan made a fantastic PowerPoint.
I did. There were screenshots. I was like, is anyone going to save Argo?
That's the big question in that movie.
I get it. It's definitely it's aged a little when you watch it in 2022, but the spirit of it lives on. I still enjoy it.
Yeah, I argued on behalf of Supergirl the movie being pretty good. I mean, not maybe the best movie in the world
for the time,
but it does a pretty faithful adaptation of Supergirl in the Silver Age. So
it was a pioneer, if you will.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think a lot of it, kind of has bled over into some other Supergirl adaptations. So there's a lot to be thankful for with Supergirl the movie. I also think it gets a little bit of a bad rap too. So I'm with you on that, Jo. So thank you for sharing that. All right, so let's talk about what you are doing this week. This is a pretty big week for you. So if you would tell our listeners and our viewers on the live stream, what is Cancer Gets Lost, and why did you want to found it and keep it going this many years later?
Okay, well, I told some of this on a Legends podcast, so I'll keep it kind of short, but long story, not really short. I was a really big fan of Lost, obviously, and then I had a somewhat successful Lost theory blog that it was a no negativity allowed, constructive criticism only, and discussion. This is long before Facebook. This was MySpace era. And it just sort of it rolled into something bigger, and I had a nice audience when social media was really starting. And when the show ended, I met a lot of fans in Los Angeles at the official Lost auction that we had only been friends online virtually, and we met one in particular. My friend Jared is take my enthusiasm, there he is, and multiply times 108, and that is Jared Wong. He had just binged the whole show. He never watched it like we did. He watched it all at once, right when it ended. He like caught on the last season, caught up with the show, watched the last season. Very enthusiastic, knows actually more about Lost than me, which is hard to say out loud. And we were disappointed that official Lost auction did not donate any of the proceeds to charity, and they made a few $1 million, which the props were amazing. I priced out early, did not wind up with any of them myself, but I was a minor collector at that point, and we sort of brainstormed. I had a friend with a brain tumor, with brain cancer, and I wanted to do something for her. And the idea was sparked at the auction. We have a decent following on social media with a lot of kind humans in this fan community. We have some memorabilia in our personal collections. Maybe we could eBay it. And then we just sort of came up with the idea of Cancer Gets Lost out of that. It took 2 years to get it all going. We have a fiscal sponsor, because when you're a tiny nonprofit like we are, they are a philanthropic organization that specializes in handling the finances of tiny 501c3. They have the status. They take care of our finances for us, and then we get to operate and work on all the creative, the curation of the items, then the building of the auctions, and they handle all the money, which I prefer, and I am not good at that part. I'm good at this part. So it's great. We got a fiscal sponsor. We have all these people, and we launched our first auction in 2012. So remember, it was 2 years after Lost ended, so it was fresh, and the fandom is still very rabid for anything related to the show. We got a bunch of items, and Friends of Bad Robot donated stuff from other shows like Fringe, and we put it online, and it made $65,000 for the National Brain Tumor Society, which is unbelievable to this day. Since then, we have had a major auction every 2 years, because it takes me 2 years to curate and build them. In between, we've had a few small auctions at conventions, fan conventions, and that kind of thing. We have raised, since 2012, so 10 years, over $325,000, and we donate every single cent to cancer charities.
That is amazing. Just a quick question. You mentioned smaller versions of it at conventions. Is that something that you would ever want to like expand out and do on a bigger scale?
Absolutely. I'd actually like to pare down and not do these giant ones that take 2 years. I like to do smaller ones. So back in the day, we had Lost conventions in Hawaii. I would obviously do them there. And then I was really involved with the 100 Fandom, another CW show, very good friends with the cast. And I did a bunch of auctions at their conventions. So through the year, those are the main ones that I've just, and then just me, I attend everything from Wizard World to WonderCon to San Diego Comic-Con. It's where I met Morgan. I'm sure we met online first. But then I'm in the curation and collection. So I go to these conventions. I'm not as involved into any specific fandoms right now, but anyone can invite me. If we have enough items amassed from that particular cast and crew, I'm happy to put a table out and for an hour do a fun live auction, and people can bid and go get a drink, come back, and that's what we do. And we've raised thousands and thousands of dollars in these hour-long auctions at fan conventions. So I'm open to it, world.
Well, I say that because I go to Dragon Con every year, and this would be something that I think Dragon Con would be into. Dragon Con also does like a fundraiser every year, but I think this would be like a really fun couple-hour panel or something where people could come in and bid on something. I think fans at Dragon Con would really like that. So if you're interested in that, just let me know, and I'll try to reach out to some people I know.
Absolutely.
There.
I've been to Dragon Con. My parents used to live in Atlanta. So it was really fun. I went before it was huge. I remember it was Fringe's first year in the air. And there was a panel called Lost versus Fringe, which is better, which is hilarious because you just, that's apples and apples. And the moderator didn't show up. So they pulled me on stage to moderate the panel. Obviously Lost won the argument that year. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that's clearly the winner. I think that should be the winner every time. And I'm just biased.
I love Fringe, but not to the extent.
Yes.
Obviously Lost has in my heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's cool. I think that would be a really cool way to expand it out and then kind of hit different people and kind of bring more awareness to it. So just wanted to put that in your ear if you ever thought about that in terms of
I appreciate it for sure, because the next step for us would be more in-person auctions like that. And the problem is when you get involved with a larger organization like Comic-Con, I even said, I don't even need a booth. I know they're $5,000. Can I have a table where people can come and drop off items that they won in a lottery that they don't want? And they said, no. And they're a nonprofit. I get it. It's a giant organization. So I literally meet at the San Diego Library at Comic-Con and go, I'm going to be here Friday at 5:00 if you have any stuff you want to donate, and people bring items. So
That's awesome.
if I had a table at a convention, I would have a space with bags. That's for sure.
That's actually a really great idea. That's awesome that you do that. And just for context for our listeners, because I have personal experience with this, is that Jo's Lost blog was amazing. Before Jo came on Supergirl Radio, I had only known her through the Lost blog that she did. So that goes way back. I mean, that's back in the Lost podcast with Jay and Jack days for me. So Jo and I go way back. She just didn't know it.
I love that you read my Lost blog, and we're talking like 2007, 2008, all the way to the end of 2012. So 2010. So I appreciate that. You're an OG.
Yeah. No, I always liked reading your thoughts, because you did bring it was a well written, good quality analysis of the show, and I really appreciated that. So I just wanted to personally thank you for that good blog that you did about Lost.
Well, thank you.
So just wanted to put some context around Jo's experience with Lost and kind of what that meant to people, Lost fans of that time. So that's really, really awesome. So I don't want to talk about Lost too much, because we do need to talk about some DC items that are in the auction. So Jo, you said that you have some with you that you wanted to show off?
Well, yes, because I knew I'd be coming on the live stream, which this is so cool. By the way, this is my very first live stream. I do podcasts about Westworld, and I've been a guest on many podcasts and panels at cons, but this is super cool. So thank you for having me.
Sure.
And I know you have photos as well, but I'll start alphabetically and go with, well, actually, no, I'm going to go with B because it's right here. So I'm going to start with Batwoman.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite current show in your universe. Meaning all y'all. So I'm excited that Funko finally released a Funko exclusive Batwoman pop. So I jumped on that right before the auction because I knew I already had this, which is one of my favorite poses of hers. It's an autographed Javicia Leslie Batwoman photo. It's got the original COA. And by the way, Cancer Gets Lost provides a certificate of authenticity for every item in our charity auction, just for those who collect such things where it matters to them. For Legends of Tomorrow, we also have a Katie Lots signed White Canary pop. The reason I love these is they're vaulted. So they're no longer production. They're hard to find new, let alone signed. And so I think that they're real cool collectible. And one of the reasons we do pops is almost everyone has a desk. I know everyone's been working from home. A lot of people have been working from home over the last 2 years. But generally speaking, having something on your desk like this not only has people, it lets them know what kind of shows and films you're into. It's a conversation piece when you say, oh, I actually donated $100 to this charity because I wanted to help out my aunt who is going through recovery right now from chemo. And I also love Legends of Tomorrow. So it's a win-win. And then that introduces them to Cancer Gets Lost. So really, it's a win for everybody.
The only thing I would recommend if you did display items in your office, this may or may not be personal experience, make sure that you put the action figures behind where the people sit, because if you put them behind you, they're just staring at the action figures. They're not listening to a word that you say. So not that that's ever happened to me, but people get distracted by the Justice League on your shelf. So make sure you put the pops behind where your guests sit.
I had them on my windowsill at my last job, and I didn't realize the sun made them. It just the whole backs of some of the pops just went away from all the sunshine through the windows. So that was bad. And also, I use these plastic covers, and that keeps people who pick them up and touch them from ruining the autographs. So I always use the pop covers. I ship them this way, and I tell people to, if they put them on display, to maybe use the plastic. Just FYI.
Be strategic with your pop placement, and make sure you maintain them well.
We learn something new every day.
Yeah.
To go along with the pop, my friend Kira is an amazing artist, and she donated tons of art. This is a white canary drawing, and that is going to go along with the pop. So I like to have packages of items. And then we'll get into Arrow. I have a lot of items from Arrow. Jared, my CGL co-founder, used to work for certain conventions, and the Arrow cast would always be there, and they were very generous. They knew about Cancer Gets Lost. And so they were very open and willing to donate and sign. And so we would bring pops to get signed. And, Oops, this way. Hi. As you know,
Yeah,
Emily
it's
Bett doesn't
mirrored
do
a
a lot
little.
of conventions, but she did sign right here. Again, it's in the plastic cover. So this is also vaulted and more rare, which I love.
The Felicity pop.
Felicity Pop. I know a lot of people don't watch DVDs anymore, but this is a DVD signed by, let's see, Katie, Stephen, Katrina, and Willa, I believe. You could always take this out and frame it if you don't want the DVD. I know you can stream it. I'm just saying.
This is an important question to clarify. Which
Yes.
which Katie are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, Katie Lotz.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Katie Cassidy, Katie Lotz.
Yeah, I know. I was
Double
like,
Katie's.
I haven't had anything from Katie Cassidy in years. So thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
This is a fun one. Remember back when loot crates were a big thing and everyone ordered them and they had different themes? Well, a lot of people had 1 or 2 items in each loot crate box they didn't want. So I had a friend send me like 6 boxes of random loot crate stuff. And this is one of them. It's actually a hood ornament. It's an Arrow hood ornament. You can see the visual on the back. There's a Flash and an Arrow one. So I think you can literally put this on your car. It's like, it's plastic, but it's super fun. And I was like, I'll put that in the Arrow package. That sounds great. Also, for those who collect Arrow trading cards, they were donated without any information, so we don't know if it's a complete set. I don't think there are any autographs in there before you ask, because some people ask, and I don't know. And then everyone knows Lord Mesa. Lord Mesa does amazing art for a ton of DC shows and fandoms, and there's like 5 prints in here. So we have a set. This is all in the same Arrow package, by the way, a set of Lord Mesa prints, and he pretty much used to only sell them at cons before the pandemic, and now he has more on his site. But a lot of these are vaulted, and you can't get them anywhere. And then
that's a good package. That's a really good deal.
Yeah,
Yes,
I decided
seriously.
For
to
Arrow
make it
fans.
one giant Arrow package. And then hilarious, awesome Colton Haynes. Who wouldn't want a shirtless photo signed by Colton Haynes? I mean,
it's
I
just-
wouldn't put it on my desk,
it's
but
so
that's just
random.
me. Well, he's been at conventions a lot, and he knows CGL, and he'll do videos for us, and he'll donate photos. And this one, I'm sure someone that would be a very nice collectible for.
Well, I mean, the autograph is just kind of the bonus, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. You're like, oh, and I have one of him signed from Teen Wolf, but he's fully clothed, unfortunately, for that.
That's
one.
not as fun.
I know. It's really not. Okay, so for Supergirl, I have a print here by Kira, and this is a really cool Supergirl print, and that is paired with. It is a Supergirl adjacent, as you know. Kyler Lee plays Alex Danvers on Supergirl, but I don't have anything specific for that character. I did go to her East of Eli concert in San Francisco a couple years ago, and she signed a couple items for us. And so this is one of them. So I wish I had more, but for this particular auction, it's a really cool duo of those things. And then the Flash. Okay, for the Flash, I have a Jay Garrick package, which is an exclusive DC pop of him, and then a Lord Mesa print. So for those people who, sorry, you couldn't see my lighting. But I think the best thing in this one of the best things in the whole auction, I'm a huge fan of Candace Patton. This is a custom drawing. It looks like she's a halo with my ring light. Wait. Yeah, so it's Candace Patton. She signed it and she donated it. A fan made it for her, and with his permission, she gave it to us. So this is super, super cool. And right now, there's like 1 bid on it, people. So you should jump on it. That's all I'm saying.
Opportunity.
So that's an original. So that's like
That's an original.
one of a kind original. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
nice.
see a number, so I think it is what it is. He does the black and white sketches. His name is Robin Overton, and he's known mostly for his Walking Dead art, but he's also ventured into the DC universe. So there you go.
I've seen some of his Walking
Yeah,
Dead art.
probably.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a staple at all those conventions. Yeah. So that's the main Arrowverse that we have. And if you'll permit me, in the DC universe, I have 2 shows represented that aren't necessarily in your universe, which is Lucifer and iZombie, which are based.
I think. Lucifer, I think
Lucifer
was in
technically
Crisis.
Was in Crisis.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't know if iZombie was, but they technically
were.
Okay.
I think they're technically considered a DC TV show.
Okay.
It aired at the same time as everybody else. So.
I mean, it's a DC property, so that
Yeah, it
counts.
is.
This is a DC podcast and live
This is a DC family here.
Excellent. So my friend Kira, again, obviously likes this universe because she created this Mazikeen art and had it signed by Leslie Ann Brandt, who I love Mazikeen. She's my favorite Lucifer character. I'm on season 6, so it was one of my slow pandemic show catch ups. So I think this is delightful. And then sweet Rose McIver, who I don't know if you're watching Ghosts, but she seems really delightful. I've never met her, but
is she on Ghosts? I've heard so much about
I've
Ghosts.
He's the lead on Ghosts.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, she's really gotten pigeonholed into like a ghost or a zombie.
CBS. It's a CBS show, and like I
She
hate to
was
say it.
Tinkerbell one time.
Oh, that's
Once upon
right.
a
That's
time.
true.
That's
So,
right.
you
Once
know.
upon a time.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of people like me included go, it's a CBS show. I probably won't like it, but it's really fun and
I've heard it's
really
good.
right
I've
now.
heard great things about it.
it's
I've
the
heard it's
kind
one
of-
of the best sitcoms that's on right now.
Yeah, it's sort of I wouldn't even call it a sitcom. I think it's an hour-long show, but it's funny. It
nice.
doesn't take itself seriously, which is what I love about Legends Tomorrow. They're very self-aware. I think Ghost is self-aware, which is unusual for a CBS show. That's just my so yes, here is Rose McIver's signed pop. I also vaulted, so it's super cool. And I can't offhand remember who got this for me at a convention, but a lot of times, and people ask this, how can I donate an item to Cancer Gets Lost? Well, you don't have to necessarily go to convention, but if you do, you know that sometimes you get a signed poster for something that you just won, or someone gives you an extra of something, or for whatever you want to buy something specific for Cancer Gets Lost, that's fine too. But I usually just get a DM. You reach out on Twitter, you reach out on a direct message, an email saying, "Hey, Rose McIver's going to be here. Do you have any interest in a signed iZombie Pop?" Absolutely. Or if they say, "What about this?" and I know that it's a show that maybe doesn't sell well in auctions, I might say, "Well, thank you anyway, but I'm good." So just reach out if you're ever in a situation where you might have something. It doesn't have to be a show that's on the air. Obviously, it could be shows that were popular or at least known at the time. I mean, I have art signed by Leah Thompson from Some Kind of Wonderful in this auction. So that's not.
We've recently talked about that as well on Supergirl.
So that's
Radio.
not exactly recent. Yeah.
That just keeps coming back around on this show.
I mean, yeah, I like that movie, but I'm more of a Mary Stuart Masterson fan myself in terms of that
that's fair.
genre of
Yeah.
film. Yeah, might have been my awakening is just seeing her in those films. I'm just saying, with her little short, cute pixie cut. Yeah, that's for a different podcast. Okay, the rest of the stuff I have is from DC Films. Would you like to see those?
I very much would. Yeah.
Okay.
Rebecca famously hates those.
No.
Now this is hilarious. This is dated. Let's see, February 7th, 2009, and it is coffee beans. Promotional coffee beans from Watchmen the movie.
Okay, I don't want to play my cards too early, but that's something that I might bid on.
Rebecca's like,
and I
"Huh."
will fight somebody for it.
Patrick Wilson looking good, still looking good in Aquaman. I'm just saying. Yeah, I wouldn't brew them, but it's again, if you put this on your desk and people walk by and they say Vite Industries, how do I know that? I mean, obviously, for those of us who love the new Watchmen show that Damon Lindelof did, it's more present than it was. It's a whole different experience. I know there are people who like both for different reasons. But yeah, this is so random. I actually have gotten this donated twice now, which is hilarious.
How are there so many of these floating around?
I mean, they're not sticking together, so that sounds good.
That would look great in my office.
I think that would be a really great addition. Right behind you as you talk.
No, not behind me. Behind the people who sit in front of me.
Yeah, let them stare. Speaking of someone pretty to stare at, Jason Momoa. That's all we need to say.
Yes. Okay.
Not hard on the
So
eye.
nice. He used to do a few cons during the Game of Thrones time and obviously Aquaman. So I have an Aquaman pop from Batman versus Superman, but he signed it. And twice. God bless him. I don't know if he does this for everybody, but he always makes sure to sign it here and here for us. So it's signed twice by Khal Drogo, aka Aquaman.
Yeah, and you have a Batman v Superman package, yes?
Yeah, so in that, I also just
now
have,
you're speaking Rebecca's language.
yeah. So Superman, it's not signed. I have never met Henry Cavill or been to a con where he's been, but I do have the Batman versus Superman, and also Superman versus Batman paper wallet. So it's just a fun little. It'd be perfect for a con. You could put it in your front pocket. No one will rip you off.
I'm really gonna have to take
Rebecca's
a look at
like,
my bank account.
Yeah, it's not terrible, that package. No. So funny enough, when I was a kid, my favorite character of all time is Superman. It's because when I was a kid, I wanted to write for a newspaper and I wanted to help people at night and save lives. So now this does not come from a place of ego when I say that I got half of that. I get to help people at night. This is what I do This is what I do, and I don't get paid for it. We don't keep a dime. We donate all the money. This is a totally, it's an elevated hobby, I would say. I do this out of love and out of need, because unfortunately cancer touches everybody, whether it's a friend, a family member, your next door neighbor, a teacher. And we've all experienced it, unfortunately, losing people to cancer. And with modern technology, there's so many amazing cures, I think, that are out there. And this cancer charity that we chose for this auction, we donate to a different cancer charity every year because there's so many in need out there. So many nonprofits aren't the big names. You don't hear about them. So we chose the Colorectal Cancer Alliance to receive 100% of our proceeds from this online charity auction, because I have two friends around my age who are recovering from colon cancer. It was a very big surprise. They both got it. But nowadays, there are kits you can get to test at home in the safety and the comfort of your own home to test for colon cancer at younger ages, which they're trying to get the word out. So this organization helps educate, brings awareness that it happens to people of all ages. And in honor of our friends, we're very happy to be able to donate this money. I will tell you that, every year, a couple of years ago, we donated to the Pancreatic Cancer Society because my mother-in-law passed away of that. My dad is in remission from blood cancer, thankfully. And so we donated to the American Cancer Society because they do a lot of blood cancer work. And so there's always a personal connection, unfortunately. So I'll always have a cancer organization to donate to, but that is why we choose. And people have tried to pitch me, and I get it, but I always have a personal connection, and that is, and really keeps me going and inspires me to keep doing this.
Well, speaking from a personal connection, I am actually a breast cancer survivor. In 2014, I went through treatment for HER2 positive stage 3 breast cancer. So just to prove my
Oh, wow.
prove my situation, I actually asked about Katie Cassidy because I actually got my picture made with both Katie Cassidy and Katie Lotz.
That's so cool.
During the time when I was doing radiation treatment. So I actually would like to thank you personally, from a personal standpoint, for raising money for all of these charities and for cancer research and all the things you do. And you may not be able to fly and use heat vision out of your eyes, but if Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice has taught me anything, if you seek Superman's monument, look around you. You are Superman. You are doing those things because you are helping other people. So I just wanted to encourage you in that way, because we may not be able to have superpowers, and sometimes we're not invulnerable. Sometimes we do get cancer, but you are able to do. You're doing amazing things. How much money did you say you already raised?
$325,000 for total for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's an amazing thing.
I will say that, well, thank you very much. I'm so glad you're here with us, and I'm so glad that you are recovered. And my sister-in-law just got declared cancer-free from breast cancer as well. And so but the technologies that the advances they have made for that is absolutely incredible. And I know firsthand. Yeah, I'm very touched. Thank you for sharing that with me. And this particular auction, we're doing double what I expected. It's a pandemic. It's our first auction during a pandemic. A lot of people's first during these last 2 years. And I kept postponing it. There's never a good time. We've had to limit the number of international bidders because of not only the price of fuel, but the global supply chain and the shipping costs and the custom costs are exponentially high right now. So people are following the instructions on the website, which is just email me if you're interested, if you have an address outside of the US, because a lot of people have friends here or an office here or a family member they can have me ship it to, and later on they can get their auction item because they do want to help. But we are double what right now in the midsection of this auction what I thought we would be. So I am so humbled and honored and inspired. I think fandoms get a bad rep because the loud ones online give fandoms a bad rep, but the internet can be a cesspool. But in the complete opposite way, things like Cancer Gets Lost and these online fan communities are illustrating and highlighting and illuminating the path to show that kindness exists on the internet and people have such positive intent. And that is what fuels me every day.
Yeah, fandoms are automatically organized in such a way that it makes it easy to raise money and get behind a cause that everybody can help out with and have a lot of belief in accomplishing. So fandoms are naturally just good places to raise money for things like that. Are there any other items that we might need to know about? I think you maybe hit all of the the DC things. I did want to mention there's a Gotham umbrella. Do you have
about that?
Do you have the umbrella?
Oh,
It is. It's just one of those typical long umbrellas. And of course, I won't open it because I'm not dumb in the house, but there it is. It's not used, but I had to open it to show you the graphic. But thank you for reminding me because that was sitting over there.
Yes, Gotham, one of my favorite interpretations of Batman. So I hope I'm not going to lose more money on that one too.
Rebecca just fuels the funds the whole auction.
You're going to make some money out of me. There's also a Batman package that people can bid on. So I wanted to make sure.
It's a multi-tool and a keychain. So like you can open your beer with a Batwing. Who doesn't want to do that?
Oh my God, a multi-tool. That's a very Batman thing to have.
Exactly. And again, it's one of those things that someone sent me all their Loot Crate extras, and I was like, I'll put a Batman package together. Why not? And I haven't seen the Batman yet, but I'm excited to.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Batman is always very popular. We talk quite a bit on Supergirl Radio about how Warner Brothers loves Batman. DC loves Batman.
Batman is forever. If you just wait long enough, there'll be a new Batman for you.
That is true.
It's the Spider-Man of DC, I think.
I'm looking forward to Batgirl. That's going to be awesome.
I'm excited about that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, so Batman is always a seller. Somebody will probably bid on that. And the only thing other that from DC stuff, this is sort of DC adjacent, sort of. But there is also a V poster that's signed by the cast of ABC's V, which Laura Vandervoort was in, who played
connections.
who played Supergirl / Kara Kent on Smallville. So if you like Laura Vandervoort as Supergirl or Laura Vandervoort as Indigo with her great hand acting. you would love her on V. She's great. Lisa steals the show. Her character kind of saved the show in a lot of ways for me when it kind of started going downhill in season 2.
I have 2 words for you.
Yes,
Liz Mitchell. I mean, I'm sorry, but my girl led the show. But should she have left Lost for that? No.
No.
So we could take a turn and go into an Elizabeth Mitchell conversation.
That's a whole other podcast.
Maybe we'll have you back on for just an entire Elizabeth Mitchell episode.
Special episode of Supergirl Radio. I love Elizabeth Mitchell.
I feel very qualified to speak about her.
It's so funny of all the Lost characters. It's funny too. All the lady fans that I know of, every single one loves Juliet Burke. Every single
Isn't that interesting?
It is
It's
interesting.
true. It's really true. I one time went on a date where I knew it wasn't going to work out because it was while Lost was airing. He was like, I don't like that, Juliet. And I was like, I don't think I like you.
And they're like, I got a phone call. I have to go.
Sorry, I gotta go.
Okay, thank goodness you never dated that person and you married the right person.
I know, exactly. And
Yeah,
he
that was a
loves
red flag.
Juliet.
Yeah.
That's a red flag, people.
Right?
Especially if they're like, oh, I love Ben Linus. And you're like, wait.
What?
Yeah.
I think how do you feel about Juliet from Lost should be your one of a standard first date questions. I'm just getting it out there.
Don't ask about Kate. It's not an alley you want to go down.
No,
That's all I'm saying.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the barometer of how much you like Juliet Burke is really key to knowing someone's character, I think.
Right. Well, I'll tell people just generally other shows that we have that people might be interested in represented in the auction.
Cause
Lost.
Yeah,
Like
the
Lost.
auction isn't just, our universe, the DC universe. There's actually pages and pages and
6 pages.
I told my husband, I was like, they've got some Wheel of Time signed stuff, and he was like, oh.
Yes, our top 5 bids, 4 of them are the signed script covers from Wheel of Time. And I know it's a new show, but obviously the books have been around and they have a built-in fandom.
Oh, yeah.
One of my best friends is one of the executive producers on that show. So she and the showrunner, Rafe Judkins, lovely guy, was on Survivor back in the day.
I think that's the funniest thing that he was on Survivor.
So great. They donated, they got the cast and they signed all of them, including Rosamund Pike, who is a hoot and a half. Did you guys watch Wheel of Time?
Oh, I have to. I don't have a choice, but it's fantastic.
Let's just say there was an infamous scene between Rosamund Pike and Sophie Okonedo, and they know who their fandom is, and they wrote one of the infamous lines on the script cover, and they got the #1 bid in the entire auction. And the line is "on your knees."
Oh my God, that's so funny.
If you watch
way
the
to
show,
play
you
to
know.
your audience.
That is a good
100
way to raise a little more money. That's smart.
They're not dumb. So we have Wheel of Time. We have tons of Winona Earp. That fandom has been so lovely and kind. They have their own conventions. They just did Earpapalooza. The showrunner Emily and the cast are so nice at every convention I've been to. So I have many items signed by them and some other rare items as well. I'm a big Westworld fan, and so you can't see it, but I'm in my basement, and I have the bar is a Westworld themed bar. So I have all Westworld stuff over there. Yeah. And so we have Westworld signed items, and to keep in the Bad Robot theme, obviously Fringe is huge. Person of Interest, I know it aired a while ago, just like Fringe, but those fans are very strong and very vocal and they're all from all over the world. Our most international bidders are for Person of Interest. It's fascinating.
Ooh, interesting.
Something for everyone. But we also have Ted Lasso. We have limited edition art from Ted Lasso. We have a very rare jersey from season 1 that has the different sponsor on it. You know, the journalist Mo Ryan, who's amazing. She lives 2 hours from me. We had coffee, and she gave me all of these amazing pieces of swag she had from promotional items over the years. And that's where also I get a lot of items as journalists and producers and actors will go from show to show and say, they'll send me an email saying, "Hey, I'm leaving. Do you want this t-shirt?" "Yes, please," because you wore it once. Or it was for the cast crew only. It says cast crew only on Marvel on the sleeve. "Yes, I would love your t-shirt." So that's how we get items donated. We never have to ask. It's lovely. We've never really had to ask. And so people just reach out. I mean, I just got an Instagram message and a post from Emily DeRavin, who played Claire on Lost and Belle on Once Upon a Time. We've met before a few times, and she signed stuff at conventions, but we finally connected, and she did a bunch of posts highlighting the items in the auction, which is amazing given her following. And again, that show, in 2 years, it's the 20th anniversary of Lost pilot, you guys. And so
oh God,
I'm so old.
That really makes me feel some things.
I feel like a grandma. But the beauty of that and of these other shows I've mentioned that are off the air is that because of streaming, people have discovered them. So we have a whole new audience, and they want a piece of the show, whether it's a rare piece of art to put on their wall or a screen use prop. Like I have friends from Fringe who sent me screen use props from Walter Bishop, which is so cool.
That's so cool.
And then the prop master for Lost sent me a can of Dharma beer, and he said, "I don't know if it's screen used, but we made it for the show, and that's good enough for everybody else. It's a non-alcoholic beer under it." But for things like that, I have to ship only United States because of laws. You can't ship liquid outside of the United States. Just FYI, people. And also, we have a lot of Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead items. Also, at conventions and Comic Cons, we have a bottle of Rick Grimes Pinot Noir. Sure. Someone will like that on their shelf. I have a bottle. It's down there. I have a bottle of there's a winery in California that makes a bottle called 815, which happens to be the number of the Lost airplane. And I asked them about it, and they said, "That's our daughter's birthday, August 15th. And I'm like, "Okay, great. Let's pretend that it's for Lost." I bought a case. I give them out as gifts when I go to visit people to get stuff signed. And then I have one over there signed by Jorge Garcia. So the Rick Grimes wine, someone in the States, because that's all I can ship it to, will be psyched to have a Rick Grimes wine. Again, random, right? So yeah. So yeah, Ted Lasso. I'm trying to think. There's so many shows. The Expanse. Goodness, I'm like, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna literally scroll through the auction while I talk to you.
Yeah,
because
isn't Elizabeth Mitchell on The Expanse?
She was on The Expanse, I think, for a season. Yeah.
Okay. I just figured
just gotta connect it back to
we'd
Elizabeth
update
Mitchell
everybody
if we
on
can.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Gotta connect it. Absolutely. Yeah. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and this was super cool nerd moment. Like, I could be a professional. I am usually when I meet with people to get items signed. Yesterday, Clark Gregg, Agent Coulson himself, retweeted the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. package. That was just huge. It doesn't even matter that he has a million gajillion followers. It's that it's freaking Agent Coulson. So I totally just did a little dance. And then I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Okay. So the reach that has, and then today, someone who follows him highlighted the auction for his followers, and he has 70,000 followers. So this is how it steamrolls. And so I just feel very lucky that we're garnering the right attention. So shows like American Gods, we have a pop signed by Ricky Whittle. The Americans, which is a terrific show, no longer on the air. I have nesting dolls with the characters painted on them. That's very rare.
That
so
is cool.
I have an Ant-Man pop signed by Paul Rudd himself.
Paul Rudd, America's sweetheart, Paul Rudd.
Ageless Paul Rudd. I mean, who doesn't love Paul Rudd, right? I mean, I guess you.
I think Paul Rudd is like one of the things that we can all agree on. It's just like Paul Rudd's great. And also
Exactly.
maybe a vampire.
Maybe a vampire. Yes. Just not a pale one. We have limited edition vinyl that is frameable. A lot of people don't necessarily listen to it. A lot of people do, but we have some really cool Bates Motel. It looks like blood strips all around the record. It's super cool because of the Bates Motel. And so Carlton Cuse, after Lost, produced and wrote Bates Motel and The Strain. So we have packages for both those shows in here because he and Damon Lindelof, who created Lost, have been the most generous human beings. They just literally had me bring a truck to LA and emptied out their marketing closet and moved on to their other shows. So between that and Michael Emerson, who is now on Evil, Person of Interest, and Lost, he donated 1 million items. And I'm good friends with Jorge Garcia. He's been on a couple of shows. Even Alcatraz, which only lasted 1 season, he gave me one of his scripts. And then we had a promotional box of Alcatraz items in it. And if you go to Alcatraz, I think you can request it. Jorge's voice does one of the tours. So you can hear his voice. The night tour is so creepy. I highly recommend it. It's
man,
really
now
cold,
I want to go to that.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like you're scrolling through. I love it. Breaking Bad and Black Panther and Birds of Prey. Oh, Birds of Prey.
Wow.
Oh, I have a pop somewhere. I meant to show you that. Yeah, I do have Journey Smollett signed Birds of Prey. There we go.
Whoa,
Black Canary.
Really cool.
I think they're making a movie, right? Because I really liked her character.
Yeah, I think they're going to continue the Black Canary character.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Breaking Bad, I have the Heisenberg hat, the same company that made the Heisenberg hat for the show, made a couple for Comic-Con, and by a couple, I mean a couple hundred, but a friend gave me one, and it's numbered, and it's in the original box, and it's so cool.
Oh, I remember when they gave that out at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Everyone was wearing I was like, well, how did you get that?
Yeah, and the price tag on it says $250, and that was 10 years ago, so who knows? Who knows? So this is so fun. You can scroll through it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Amber Benson signed art, and then Captain Marvel package, Captain America package. Again, nothing signed, but Carol for my people. Everyone likes Carol. Charmed CW show. It's a promotional journal. This is super fun, you guys. I can walk you through. Chef. So Jon Favreau, long before The Mandalorian, a great writer and a director wrote and directed Chef and starred in it. The food truck movie with Scarlett Johansson. So there you go. Some 1-season Marvel shows like Cloak and Dagger. We have items from that. We have Colony backpack from Carlton Cuse's show, and it's got a little multi-tool in there if you need a backpack for camping. As you know, Conan O'Brien does these Comic-Con shows, and he does limited edition funny pops for what's hot at the time. So he did a Star Wars fighter pilot pop from a Comic-Con a couple years ago. I'm super bummed that this show didn't get continued from Netflix. It's Cowboy Bebop, and my friend Javi Grillo Marxwatch from Lost, and he did The Middleman, and he did The Dark Crystal, and we have items from him from The Dark Crystal. He had the writer staff sign those t-shirts, so it's pretty amazing. So Daredevil Marvel was on Netflix. We have a crew shirt. Listen, CSI Miami, someone's going to want that photo signed by the cast. I'm just saying.
Yeah, when you say that you have items from like every single show that you can imagine, it's not just all genre stuff. Like we got CSI Miami, we got Ted Lasso in there.
And I want to have items that appeal to all ages too. Like we have a little Westworld teddy bear. They don't need to know that it's wearing a creepy t-shirt. It's just a teddy bear. So if they want to buy a teddy bear for their kid and help people with cancer, there you go. So this is the Dark Crystal stuff that is from their table read and the puppets they made for the writer's room. Little stick figures. Dark Crystal. This is Dark Matter. So there's something for every one of these shows that not everyone watched as well. The Defenders, the Netflix show, De Susan Mero, which is currently on. Dexter, this is from the original Dexter. These are really cool numbered limited edition prints from each season of Dexter. And if you watch the show, the graphics might make sense to you, like the ice truck killer, etc. So
the art in them is actually very cool. Just like on its own.
Minimalistic art is really neat.
That's Dickinson, one of my favorite shows of all time on Apple TV Plus. Just spoke to me.
I've got to watch that show. I've heard so many good things.
It's beautiful and hilarious. There's Karen Gillan signed from Doctor Who. And then we also have the very limited edition 13th Doctor pop that was out at Comic-Con a couple years ago. So there's only 1,000 of those ever made.
Whoa. Yeah. That is rare.
And then Icarus and Cersei from the new Eternals movie. They're not super rare pops, but they're new exclusive versions. So I put them together since they're, spoiler alert, together in the movie. The Expanse Writer's Room Doodle. Fear the Walking Dead. As you know, Alicia Dedham Carey is a huge He has a huge fandom for many reasons across many shows. So we have photo with her and also Coleman Domingo, who will win an Oscar one day. He's amazing at everything he does. Kim Dickens, my favorite from Deadwood. She signed the action figure. And who wouldn't want to wear Fear the Walking Dead flip-flops and his staff jacket? That's all I'm saying.
Now, why would you want flip-flops during the zombie apocalypse? Is my question.
I'm not saying we have practical gifts in the auction. I'm just saying that if it's hot one day and you're going to the pool, you might look cool in your Fear the Walking Dead flip-flops.
I just don't think you're going to run very fast from zombies.
But in a zombie apocalypse, you're going to want to leave those at home.
Absolutely. But you can grab your Fear the Walking Dead writing staff jacket for when it's cold.
There you go. That's something you might want to.
And your beanie.
Oh, yeah. Of course, your beanie.
So Maggie Grace went on to do Fear the Walking Dead. Cast and crew got a Fearopoly. It's the only cast and crew have it. And she signed it too. So it's super cool. You can see that she signed on the left side. Yeah.
Is it a Monopoly game?
Yeah. But it's got Fear the Walking Dead, different spaces on it. Just like a regular Monopoly board.
Like a weapons tax.
Yeah. It's so cool. We also have a Schitt's Creek Monopoly, but it's not as dark as this one. Yeah, it's not signed. That's a poster signed by the cast. Again, Bad Robot, a Felicity chair magnet. You never know. You can frame all this random stuff. If I had more for Felicity, I would put it in there. There's your Flash packages. Maggie Grace was also in a movie called The Fog. So there's a graphic novel and a poster and a DVD. The Fresh Prince poster. That's all I'm going to say about that. Fringe, that Amber from the lab was number 1 out of that series. There's only 285 pieces that were ever put out, and that is one of the top 10 items in our auction. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's already got a pretty high bid. It's
very high bid for that. Yeah, it's just a great thing to again put on your desk. The fedora, you can't go wrong with the Fringe fedora from The Observer. We have some framed art from the executive producers of the show that they had in their office. And then, smaller things like a notebook and a graphic novel and, a computer laptop case, that kind of thing. I'm friends with Jessica Nicole, who played Astrid, and she signed her cards inside of the Fringe binder. The Fringe poster has a high price on it because it's from before season 1. It was a promo poster signed by J.J. Abrams and the cast.
Whoa.
So it's pretty unusual in that way. And so I got it rolled. So I photographed it with the little poster holders, but it'll look great when it's framed. I think it's only 11 by 17. Those are the screen use items by Walter Bishop on the left. And then we go to Futurama, which is like a promotional kit for Futurama. And then we get into Game of Thrones. We have Bran Stark, King of the North, no comment, signed by Isaac. And then we have some art, and we have some limited edition stamp sets and coins that you can only get in the UK. And then we have Nothing Jon Snow, Kit Harington signed. And there is Khal Drogo. There is signing on the top and the bottom.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool that you have so many Funko Pops, because I know a lot of people get really into collecting them.
Yes.
And they have like big collections of Funko Pops. So like to have a signed one seems really neat.
It is so I love it. I have a pop display case, but mine aren't signed, but I just have my favorites in there. So yeah, I get it. That's a stamp set inside of there. And then a limited edition Missandei, and then the Night King signed his pop, and he's on the dragon. So that's a cool box. And there's also one of those Comic-Con only made 1,000. That's Elena, Grandmama from Game of Thrones. And then we have a bunch of art and posters and that kind of thing. We have a Get Out package with this really cool art press kit. And then I just added the DVD to it. I don't know if you guys ever watched Getting On HBO, but it's Niecy Nash, and it was just a dark comedy about people who worked in a nursing home, and it's hilarious. So Scrubs from that show, a Ghostbusters package of random Ghostbusters stuff. I met Darcy Carden at ATX TV Festival. Delightful from The Good Place. Not a robot. Janet, you signed that. Bless. There's the Gotham umbrella. Thank you for doing this. This is so fun to walk through it.
Yeah, if you have time. I know there's a lot of stuff in here.
I have time. Halt and Catch Fire. Who wants a carry-on bag for Halt and Catch Fire? There you go. Now, The Handmaid's Tale. It's not the lightest show in the world, but my dear friend Kira is a writer-producer on that show, and she donated her amazing cast and crew exclusive. That's a brand new vest. It's lined. It's a really cool vest. We have mugs and water bottles and that kind of thing. So again, not the lightest show, but it's so well done. I really, really like that show. And there's also a puffy jacket. And then we have one Harry Potter package. It's a stamp set signed by Katie Leung. And the rest are we have Harry Potter socks and a wand and a Hagrid pop, that kind of stuff in that package. And so Hawkeye, we have brand new Yelena pop, finally they put out a Elena pop for Hawkeye, and then some cool pins. Heathers is a show that the CW tried to put out, and it was bad timing, and then I think they dumped it and put it out later, but they sent this really cool promotional box to a friend of mine, and she gave it to me. Her Universe, it's a really I love Her Universe. A dress and a coloring book randomly, but that's what I had, so I made a package. Inhumans, another 1-season Marvel show. That's that. Iron Fist, Netflix show for Marvel, now on Disney Plus. Listen, this is random, but this is why I started at $5. Someone gave me an Iron Giant mask, and it's just a paper mask that would look really cool framed on a wall if you're a fan. Right?
That's so cool.
It's just a tiny piece of paper thing, but again, someone else's junk is our treasure, and it's for the best cause possible. So
that's sort of Superman adjacent.
There you go.
A lot of Superman fans like the Iron Giant.
Right, perfect. There's the Rose McGavin. Wow, I can't speak tonight. There you go. The iZombie Pop, a James Cameron sci-fi book where he interviews like Guillermo del Toro, Steven Spielberg. It's really cool. And also one of the biggest surprise so far for me is the Killing Eve package. It is a signed photo by the two leading ladies, by Jodie Comer and Sandra Oh. And then the rest of it is just some unsigned art and some pins from the show, which are great. But I guess I'm very pleasantly surprised. I know the show is really hot right now and it's in its final season, but that is a very hot ticket item. So I'm very pleased.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that too. That's interesting.
This is hilarious. So when Michael Emerson kindly donated tons of stuff from Lost and Person of Interest, he included two things that were not. This is a baseball from the 1981 Dodgers World Series team signed by Tommy Lasorda and the entire baseball team.
Whoa.
That's a pretty big item, because didn't Tommy Lasorda pass away recently?
I believe so. And not only that, if you're a fan of, I don't know, Person of Interest, Evil, or Lost, and you like baseball, I think it's a win-win. It comes with that case. So I decided to put it in the auction, and obviously it's doing well. And he also donated, you'll see later, cufflinks. Great. Random, but the last week tonight, John Oliver Lego, promotional Lego, is doing really well too. You just never know what people are going to really glom onto. But again, that would look cool on someone's desk, right?
It would. I was literally just watching that earlier tonight. So
yeah. And by the way, for everyone who's tuning in, at all points, you can find all of this on cancergetslost.org. And I'm sure you will be putting that at the front and the back end of this, but I want to just reiterate while we're in the middle of it.
Yeah, and if people are watching live, there's a link in the video description of the live stream, and there will be a link in the audio podcast of the audio podcast show notes. So we'll have links to everything. And so how do people, while we're talking about this, how do people register to actually bid in the auction?
If you go to cancergetslost.org and click on the very front post, which says 2022 charity auction, in the first paragraph, it'll say in capital red, click here to register. There are some caveats if you do have an address outside the United States, but it's all listed there. At the bottom of that post, there are shipping estimates to both the UK and Canada to give you an idea of how ridiculous it is right now. Like to send a pop to the UK, this will probably cost $75 to ship.
Wow.
Yeah, and that doesn't include customs fees that everyone's responsible for once it arrives. So that's why we have to limit the number right now. We're almost to our cap, but you still have time to register. You could register up until the day the auction closes, which is Saturday. It closes starting at 2:15 p.m. Central Time. And the fun of that is it closes sequentially and alphabetically. So once and if there's a bidding war, so if you get a bid on an item in the final minute, it opens up again for 3 minutes and it'll flash bidding war. And then it goes on to the next one and closes it. And so I have like 3 screens open trying to like keep track of it all. And it's even if you're not registered, even if you're not participating, it's fun to watch just the items close and see what happens with the bidding wars, because you can see the numbers going up. And for me, it's like, this is my World Series and this is my Oscars. This is everything in one, because every single penny, every single amount that you see, just like for me, it just makes me cry, because it's just all going to charity, and it helps people. It helps so many people with cancer. So, okay, back to the auction. I don't know if you lost your place or not.
Oh no, I don't think so. Let's see.
We're at the leftovers.
Yes,
we're at the L. Okay, so hilariously, HBO made leftovers Tupperware for the leftovers. One of my favorite things of all time. And also, you can bring that to the office, but just don't let anyone steal it from the fridge, because it's so cool. There is the Legends of Tomorrow. And then Let Me In, new Oscar nominee Cody Spit McPhee signed that. And Matt Reeves, who directed The Batman, also signed. This is hard to find. The Alligator Loki was very hard to acquire. It was one of those. They put a lot
Alligator
of pops out.
Loki.
Alligator Loki. And
I
added
love him.
alligator pin set with that. Some other just really fun art. Joey Spiato does a lot of art that I put in my auctions. Really fun, like those little small book covers. And so that's what that is. And then there's a comic signed by Daniel Kibblesmith, who does the Loki comics. So cool. And then Patrick Ballesteros, as he's all the cons, love his art, have some of his art in there as well. And Lord Mesa did some as well. And then we get into Lost. So we'll go through it quickly, but that is a trading card signed by Michelle Rodriguez. It's the only thing I've ever had signed by her. I'll take it. I'll take it. Someone will take it. That is made by ABC in Apollo Bar. And if you watch the show, that'll mean something to you. The beer was also made for the show. So those items always do really well in the auctions. Those are actual production notes from a production designer. And then
that's season 5.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. And they actually glued on little Dharma vehicles on there to show you where the vans are going to go. So yeah. Yeah. Really, it looks good framed. I'm just saying.
Okay.
That is the complete series Blu-ray set, which is very hard to find and very expensive now. And Damon
I actually have one of those. I don't have it signed by Carlton and
that's okay, as long as you have one. Yeah. If you have the Blu-ray, if you open the lid, underneath there's a disc that's hidden underneath the disc, and I'm on a DVD extra in there, and I have long hair. So just for fun, if you want to treat yourself, find that hidden disc.
Nice.
And I might have been at a charity event, and I might have had some cocktails. That's all I'm saying. It's fine. Yeah. Okay, so then all the Lost Pops are also vaulted. So we have a set of Lost Pops that I threw in a J.J. Abrams pop just because. And then that item, not surprising, does really well, which is an old Desmond bobblehead signed by Henry and Cusick. Very rare. This is a dress worn at the Comic-Con booth in 2008 that Lost at ABC put on for the Dharma Initiative. Great. Someone's going to like that. And then an empty can of diced tomatoes from the Dharma Kitchen. Again, how cool would that be on your shelf? Right?
So cool.
My friend Jamie is an artist and started the Dharma Supply Company, donated a box of all of her items. It's everything from a coin purse to t-shirts to notepads. So we have that in there. The Lost Encyclopedia is now out of print, and it's very expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
I do too. They're great.
It is good.
It really helps me build my auctions when I want to fact check something that was used on the show or get the spelling of a character's name or whatever. I reference that all the time.
Very helpful.
Yeah. Just an EW issue signed by Jorge Garcia, who played Hurley. That's a cast crew yearbook. That was donated by Damon Lindelof. It is very, very rare.
Look at that current bid.
There's that's
you're
up there with the Wheel of Time.
One.
It's got some pre-printed cast autographs in it, but more importantly, it's got behind the scenes of everyone from catering to the people who made the DVDs to the transportation. It's a really nice gift that they gave, and it's really cool to see the behind the scenes of the show from start to finish. So you can see why that's up there. Yeah. Final season poster, Tyler Stout, signed by Damon and Carlton. Also always a very popular item for obvious reasons. Those are set placards that they used in Hawaii to move around to locate the show like they do now. And they obfuscate now, and they don't say like Supergirl down the street. They'll say a code name. They used to use Lost in Hawaii because nobody cared. Nobody would bother them.
That's too funny.
Yeah. Some more posters and art. I said part. I meant posters and art. You get what I'm saying on a live stream. This is actually slowing down for me. I usually speak a lot faster than this. So I cut down on the caffeine today just for the live stream. So you can keep scrolling. That's more art and posters. That is a live triple album by composer Oscar winner Michael Giacchino, who then is throwing in signed Lost sheet music. Whoever wins this gets custom signed Lost sheet music from Michael Giacchino. So yeah,
that is
it's
pretty cool.
It's pretty great. Yeah, he's always the first to jump in and say, "Wait, let me add to this package." So yeah. Namaste is a phrase they use on Lost, so there's a little wood sign for it. For people who didn't go to the official Lost auction back in 2010, these are very, very rare paddles that were only given out at the auction. So that comes with, it's signed on the back by the prop master, Rob Kiker, comes with the live auction catalog and a t-shirt from the auction. So a script signed by Mr. Daniel Day Kim, who everyone knows from everything now because he's everywhere, and Lost pilot script signed by him. This is funny, but it's like, over the years, people give me things like tiny pins, and that one's actually numbered and limited edition on the back. And then my friend Chris in the UK, his company custom created a Cancer Gets Lost box of mystery Lost pins. So I included one of those in the package. Why not? Yeah. So it's a long box. You'll see it. Yeah. So there's those. And then I think it might be yeah, it's fine. Okay, that Lost binder is Maggie Grace. Again, signed the binder, gave me a binder of cards, put that in the auction. Thank you, Maggie Grace. Staff, crew hats, and t-shirts do really well. And this is a Lost crew hat, so someone's going to buy it and wear it. That is a really cool print. It's a photo print signed by 11 of the cast. It's rare because people like Naveen Andrews and Matthew Fox, who do not go do conventions, they've signed it. So it's pretty cool. It's got 11 people on it. I think it's cool.
That's so cool.
T-shirts that were exclusive to Comic-Con a couple years ago. We have a couple Lost t-shirts. Again, Maggie Grace donated her infamous bikini action figure and signed it.
So ridiculous.
Yep. She also signed a t-shirt. We have some Lost posters that are limited edition. And on the right is a book called Lost Thought. I have 2 chapters in there I've published. I actually presented a paper at a pop culture conference after Lost ended. And I wrote a paper comparing Alice in Wonderland to Lost. And they liked it so much that the author asked me to contribute to this compilation. So I signed the book. So whoever wants that, it's in there.
Nice.
And then, so yeah, that's the end of Lost. It's a hat by Maggie Grace. And then Lost Girl. And then Lucifer, Luke Cage. I mean, you name it, we have it. So yeah, Luke Cage. So also another big recent show fandom is MacGyver, and sweet Meredith Eaton, sorry, my bad. Meredith Eaton, who was on the show, reached out and donated these fingerless gloves that were cast crew only, and she signed them. Again, such a cool collectible.
That is a cool collectible. I love the stuff that's like, was donated by the cast and crew, and it's just like something that you could just kind of like wear around and be like, oh yeah, this, I got it exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we try and put things in the auction that aren't available elsewhere anymore. So the Magicians, that's a super rare board game. It's super cool. One of the writers responded the other day that I couldn't even get one. I had to win one on my office pool. So that's how rare that game is. It was made for marketing by Sci-Fi back in the day. And then we got some, one of my favorites, Mandalorian. We got some limited edition art for the Mandalorian, and we have, I know it's random, but we have one of these. It is a Williams-Sonoma Grogu Baby Yoda ice block maker, so you can make in your drink, drink Baby Yoda. I'm just saying.
What is
I
this?
might need that.
Morgan, you're gonna have to fight me for it.
I think we're gonna get years. Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah, and action figures and pops, that kind of thing. And again, none of it's like signed, but a lot of them are limited edition, which to me, and I have that small print on the right, the Scott C. Lava print. I love that print of just the giant Mandalorian and the tiny little baby. I love it. And then Marvel Rising, which is, I believe it was a TV movie that they made many years ago. The cast signed that. So I don't know if you know Matt Nathanson's music. He's married to my college roommate. We've known each other since the first day of college. She's one of my closest friends of many, many years. So he donated his signed CD for this. And then another good friend, Javi Grillo Marxwatch, has an infamous essay about the making of Lost and what it was like to be a writer and producer on Lost. In this book, he signed his book. He also created the show The Middleman, which was canceled way too soon. So I included a DVD of that in there. The Mighty Ducks, great. People who like the Mighty Ducks will appreciate the uniforms in this artwork. Funny story about the Power Rangers. Back in college, I won't say when, I was an extra on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in Los Angeles, and it was my summer job. And I met the Pink Ranger, and she would never remember me, but now I think it's full circle and hilarious that all these people have donated signed Power Ranger items.
You met Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Ranger?
Did. Yes.
Oh, I wanted to be her when I was little.
It was so cool. She was super nice. And I was in college, and I just my job was to follow her around as part of her friend group without talking because I didn't get a SAG card. So I was in, and I had no interest in being an actor. Still don't. I did it for fun to make money that summer, and that's what it was. So now I can say I was on the Power Rangers.
That's so awesome. Funny. And then she was later on Felicity. So you had a connection to Lost so much further.
It's such a vague connection, but I will take it.
Exactly.
Yes. Exactly.
It's all in the J-Brams universe.
It's all in the J.J. Abrams universe. Exactly. So we have the Red Ranger pop as well. And then a show I recently discovered on Hulu called Motherland Fort Salem. It's about all-female military in the United States. It's actually really good. My friend Kira donated an art set for that. So again, something for everyone. I mean, Chris Hemsworth on a beach towel. Who wouldn't want to put that on them, right? I'm just saying there's a Shark Fest Nat Geo situation, and there's a package in there, but I'm like, I have to put Chris Hemsworth on the front. Hello. New Girl pint glasses, whether it's for water or for beer, it's a promotional New Girl set of unused pint glasses. So someone's going to enjoy that. Yeah. Nickelodeon art, Once Upon a Time poster art.
Elizabeth Mitchell's on that one.
Oh, why do you think I chose that
there
as
we
the cover? Okay.
go.
That's a really cool promo item that Eric Goldman gave me, another journalist friend. It is a Captain Hook spy scope. I'm blanking on the actual word right now, but there is a word for it. But maybe I should cut down on the caffeine. It's a really cool. It's not a telescope. It's like a spy scope.
This says spyglass prop replica.
Sure, that is what it is. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yes, and it comes with a pop, his vaulted pop, and then Sweet Emily from Lost, Once Upon a Time. There's an Emily package in there. I had to, and the DVD signed by a bunch of the cast. Again, you don't need the DVD if you just want to frame that. One Day at a Time, also canceled too soon. One of my favorite shows. So heartwarming and so fun. I have a nice artwork signed by Isabella over there, and then at ATX TV Festival a couple years ago, I got Rita Moreno and Justina Machado's table tents, and I put those in there. They're not signed, but it says Rita Moreno. She's an EGOT. She's a goddess, and she is the queen of everything. So someone like that. My Sestras, Orphan Black. Did you guys watch Orphan Black?
So I still haven't watched the last season because I didn't want it to end, and then I got really behind, and I haven't circled back around. But I loved that show up until I just randomly stopped watching it.
I will say, I think you'll find the series finale of that show very, very satisfying. That's all
I've heard good things about
Yes.
I feel like there was a little dip in quality like going into the last season. Then I watched the first couple episodes and I was like, oh, okay, it feels like it rated the ship. So
I thought it was
on my list
really, really strong. So go back to that.
Such a great show. Like Tatiana Maslany is like can do no
She-Hulk.
wrong.
She's She-Hulk.
She's She-Hulk now. Yeah.
I cannot wait to see her. I'm just so glad she joined the MCU and did something that big. I mean, she did win an Emmy for a show that very few people watched, and I'm so glad that she's now like on that scale. So yes, we have Orphan Black items. Graham Manson, the showrunner, is a friend of mine. He went on to do Snowpiercer, which I also really enjoy. These pops are vaulted. The Felix pop is fun because it's his naked butt on the back. If you watch the show, he doesn't wear clothes a lot. He wears an apron because he's painting, and then no clothes. So his bare butt is in the pop.
That's too funny.
It is. It's fun. Yeah. If that's your thing. The Orville, we have a computer case. Why not for your laptop? Outlander, huge fandom, as you know. So we have a lot of promotional items. We have a stationery set. We have I was about to say a canister. Wow, you guys, I can't put a sentence together. I've been up for a while. A flask. Thank you very much. We also have a t-shirt and an art print in there. Pan Am. It's from the show Pan Am that was on for one season. It's ABC promotional item, but it's actually a really, really cool carry-on bag. So there you go.
Yeah, we recently talked about that on Supergirl Radio.
We did.
I just want to emphasize we do talk about Supergirl on
Obviously.
Supergirl Radio, but every now and then Pan Am comes up randomly. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, Parenthood, another show that really touched my heart. We have jackets and hats from that show. So we have Parks and Rec. We have a Pawnee limited edition print plus a Ron and Leslie pop set and a plush little Sebastian.
Oh, little
So
Sebastian.
cute. This is all person of interest items. All of those two are screen use donated by Michael Emerson. So that's why they're higher in the bids. Bad Robot, person of interest sweatshirt and messenger bag. We have Michael Emerson's hockey jersey, sure, and a picnic basket and a cooler, like a portable cooler. There are the cufflinks. Michael Emerson went to Ireland and got some cufflinks and they're in the auction. I don't know why. They just are.
So they're so fancy though.
They are fancy. There is the travel mug. So yeah, person of interest is well represented. I think we're on the final page. Okay. The Punisher, John Bernthal signed art. This artist named Sarah sent that to me. It's lovely. And a Punisher t-shirt as well. Rain, another CW show, got a signed photo. You can keep scrolling. So then we have a Rick and Morty package of promotional marketing materials. Same with Robot Chicken. I almost said Bad Robot Chicken. That's a whole different show. Another show that canceled too soon, in my opinion, Marvel's Runaways. We have a set of pops and a cast crew hat. And one of the pops is signed by Greg Sulkin. So that's really cool. Listen, Zack Attack. I mean, who wouldn't want this on their wall, right? I'm just kidding.
it's cute.
It is very cute.
So cute. Saved by the Bell is a classic.
It is a classic, and now that they've redone it, it's like I love those caricatures that he does. It's great. Joey Spiato. I have the Lost one on my wall. Okay, I was him for Halloween. I was David Rose, guy of the hair. So I'm a huge fan. I have that print on my wall, framed over there. So I've loved that print. Had to put one in the auction.
Did you have the sweater like he has?
I had the sweater. I had the rings. I had the hair. I had the sunglasses. I went all out.
Amazing.
Amazing. the Monopoly, Schitt's Creek Monopoly, and then we have a Rose Family pop set. The limited edition one is the Alexis Rose, a little bit of Alexis. And then I have a pop set of David and Moira Fold in the Cheese. Of course. Schitt's Creek, when they went on tour and did they went to different cities and they talked about the show. That's a poster from that. And then we move into Shannara Chronicles. My friend Hobby briefly worked on that show, so that's a staff sweatshirt. Then there's the Some Kind of Wonderful art signed by Leah Thompson. That's throwback for those of us of a certain age. Sons of Anarchy poster signed by 11 is a pretty big item. This is why it's doing well in the auction. It's signed by so many people, including the showrunner, Katie Segal, Charlie Hunnam, all of them. So whoever's bidding on that, thank you. And Katie Segal. So her sister wrote for Sons of Anarchy and wrote, I think, on Dark Crystal with Javi, donated these signed items from Katie Segal for Sons of Anarchy. So that's cool.
Oh,
in
wow.
the auction. Yeah. Squidbillies is a cult classic show, animated show.
It's one of the best animated shows ever made.
Yeah. So I have this, someone gave me this vinyl. It's brand new. It's not open. It's got everyone on it from like a country artist to T-Pain. So it's going to be a collectible for someone.
Does that have the song about Auburn sucks?
If you open it, the back, it does list the picture. It does list on the back the songs.
Okay,
so
that's
go to the second photo.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So okay, Stan Lee, I thought that would be it before we got Wheel of Time, our number one item of all time. I did make mine at a convention in San Jose a couple of years ago to get his autograph, my friend and I, and we each got one. And it was well worth it. I just knew that someday, and I didn't plan on like saving it till after he passed. It just worked out that way with timing. But I think nostalgia is why that price is way up there. I think if you're going to have a signed pop on your desk, you can't get any better than Stan Lee, really, to me.
That's pretty good.
But then there's, oh my, George Takei signing a Stu TV pop. So cool. I love that. Fun fact, I went to high school with his nephew, Brian. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Really?
Yeah. And at the time, I didn't watch Star Trek, but I knew of it, but I thought that was so cool. Star Trek pin set. Sure. Someone will love that. Star Trek art and a hat. It comes with DVDs. I got it at the Star Trek premiere at one of the Comic-Cons. So, and then Star Wars. I'll be honest, Star Wars doesn't do well in our auctions, and I'm not quite sure why. I wonder if it's because there are so many items available out there. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't bid yet, welcome. So we have some limited edition stamp sets that you can only get in England. My friend Rick donated them. It's very nice of him. As someone from the Bay Area, I got the San Francisco Giants BB-8 beanie and pop that they only had there.
Cute.
So cute. So I'm sorry if you're a Dodgers fan, but that's a really cute hat. Okay. I'm just saying. And then I have a couple of sealed boxes that have some limited edition pops and other Star Wars goodies in them. And that is a set of dancing Darth Vaders and Stormtroopers and BB-8s. It dances on your desk. Sure, great. Some posters. The thing about the Star Wars Monopoly is they screwed up and they put out the Star Wars Monopoly without Rey, and she was the only female lead, the first female lead when they reintroduced the Force Awakens. They totally screwed up, and they re-released it with Rey. So I have the one with Rey.
Nice.
Good job, Mattel. Yeah. More Star Wars art, Star Wars stamps, and I think we're almost through Star Wars. Yeah. So there's the Strain. It is a heavy box. It's a creepy box, but it's super cool. It's a box set of the whole series of Strain, and it is a thermos, like I can't put a word together, you guys. I don't talk in a while. If you haven't noticed that, I've been 2 years building the auction. Yeah. There you go. It's an insulated thermos. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And again, you could get it even if you just want a thermos. Stranger Things, obviously very, very huge. I'm kind of surprised that's lower in bids as of right now, but Stranger Things signed by David Harbour, who was just in Black Widow. Super 8, one of my favorite J.J. Abrams films. That is it's just a little artifact from the film. There's your Supergirl package. And another Maggie Grace. She was in Taken with Liam Neeson, plays his daughter, so she signed the DVD. I have 2 Taylor Swift signed CDs, which I think is so cool.
Whoa.
I'm a Swiftie, so there you go. We have 2 different albums.
Swifties among us.
For the Swifties among us, yes. And then my beloved Ted Lasso. I have to show you on my desk. I have my little Believe pin.
Oh,
that's great.
I'm actually getting it tattooed as well. It just speaks to me because of what I do and who I am. So yes, Ted Lasso art, limited edition. And these are really cool. I have this framed as well. These are Ted Lasso trading cards. That's how small they are. Made by this artist named Collier Smith. They're limited edition and numbered on the back. And they're just really, really cool collectibles that are so small. They look really great framed. So we have those for those who want them. A set of the coaches and him. That's the jersey I was talking about that's super rare. Thanks, Mo Ryan. That's in there. And then we get to Teen Wolf. I know they're redoing Teen Wolf right now. I don't know if they're doing a movie. I think they're doing a movie, but we have
a movie, yeah.
a cast crew sweatshirt and a fully clothed Colton Haynes signed photo from That's Joe. Sorry,
also Superman adjacent.
Superman adjacent.
True.
Was,
that's right.
On Teen Wolf.
His origin.
Yes. And I know J.R. Bourne from The 100, and he is the most amazing guy. He has so much heart. I will watch the Teen Wolf movie just for him. So we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle package with a comic signed by one of the authors of the comics. We have the only 100 item in my auction is from Lindsay Morgan, who was on Walker, and she signed to FU Cancer, bless her, the top of her pop, Raven from The 100. My girl, my favorite from the MCU, Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson signed pop from Thor.
Oh, so cool.
Cannot wait for Thor, Love and Thunder. Tron, so I have press kits stuff from Tron Uprising and Tron Legacy. And I believe the coins I have are from the original Tron. So that's cool too. There's the V sign poster we talked about. Then we're getting into The Walking Dead. So a Carl sign pop. Those angel wings are metal. And a fan created them in honor of the character Daryl, and gave them to Norman Reedus at a con. And he couldn't fly home with them. So he gave them to us to put in the auction.
That's
super cool. Yeah. And there he signed that pop as well. And Stephen Yoon signed the Glenn comic panel. And then we have photos from Josh McDermott and Nadia Hilker, who then donated them to us. So we literally, sometimes we go to cons and they see us and just take this. And then we walk by and that's it. There's the Rick Grimes wine I was talking about. And Andrew did sign his pop on the bottom. So if you want to show that off on your desk, you'd have to lift it up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, now we're into WandaVision. Nothing signed, but I love Agatha Harkness, and she's getting her own show. So we have an Agatha Harkness pop and pin set. And then we have the cool black and white and Monica Rambeau pop sets. And that's my favorite line. One of my favorite lines ever written was, what is grief if not love persevering?
A great line.
If it wasn't so long, I would get that tattooed. Like, I love it. And that is that print. This artist, Alice, does an amazing job, and that's limited edition. There is the Watchman coffee we talked about. And then we're getting to Westworld. There's some art. There's that cute teddy bear. It's got a Delos Corporation shirt, but nobody knows that's an evil corporation. If you want to get that for your kid, that's all I'm saying. Parents out there, be cool. There's the limited edition vinyl. Ramin Djawadi, who does the soundtrack for Game of Thrones, also does Westworld. So it's a really cool blue record. The limited edition and vaulted pops from Westworld are a set in there as well. Promotional poster from the first Comic-Con. T-shirt from the cast and crew. And I think you're getting to the poster. Signed at Comic-Con twice by Tessa Thompson. I'm just saying. She accidentally signed it twice. Aaron Paul. It's great. These are the biggies. These are the Wheel of Time scripts signed by the entire cast. And then there's one signed by the two characters in the that main episode. And this one, that one's signed by Alvaro Marta. I can't say his name right now. I'm so sorry. I can't say his name right now because I've been talking too much. But he's also on Money Heist on Netflix, which is a huge show. And he plays the little Dragon Reborn in the episode of The Dragon Reborn. He signed it. I'm totally blanking on his name. I apologize. Don't
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know who you mean. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
Alvaro
cool.
Monto, I think. Monte. I'm
like
butchering
if there's any Wheel of Time fans or like Twitter of Time people, these are
they've
some
been
big
fabulous
ticket items. So
they're fabulous. Yes. And then we're getting into one on Earp. So we have an art package here by my friend Kira again, and then a signed comic, a limited edition holiday print with the cast, and a yearbook, a signed poster. That is another signed comic, and that's a limited edition. Laura Innes is this beautiful art that she makes, especially of When and Earp, and the whole cast signed that one. And that's another one of those pops at Comic-Con. They only made, I think, 1,000 or 1,500, so we got one of those in there. And then my first fandom was the X-Files. My first foray into anything online was for the X-Files message boards back in the day. So I love that we got little flashlights, and there's a Fight the Future from the first film, Lunchbox, in there. And then
that's so cool.
Yeah, I just love it.
I'm still mad at that bee from the first movie.
Don't even get me started on the bee. Yeah. See, like, I had that in my closet. It was wrapped. I'm like, I'm gonna put it in the auction. It's time to get rid of the lunchbox. But someone could actually use that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then we have a Xena package with a Xena. It's her dagger necklace, and then there's some art with it. And this is hilarious. So Yellowstone. It's a promotional Yellowstone box. It's a wood box. It's empty. There's a stain on the bottom, but you know what? Someone's going to love that for their desk because someone's going to ask about how do you have a Yellowstone box? And there's also
people are loving Yellowstone right now.
I get it. I don't get the channel,
is,
so I haven't watched it, but like, there you go. It's a box. There you go. Right? Someone's going to love it. Again, someone else's junk is our treasure.
Exactly.
And the last item is the Yvonne Strahovski package. It's very random. It's not a really signed photo, but she was on Broadway 10 years ago. And the Broadway show was about boxing. So it's a boxing glove signed by the entire cast, including Tony Shalhoub. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
And I appreciate it. For those of you who are watching this going, what are you doing? And this is not Supergirl. Thank you for putting up with us. That was super fun to walk through the whole auction. That was a huge honor. And having me on, it's just like you guys this is huge for Cancer Gets Lost. And we are so grateful.
Well, Supergirl fans love other things too. They want a Yellowstone, empty Yellowstone box, and
a pop signed by Khal Drogo. I'm just saying.
Rebecca's gonna get some coffee beans.
Coffee beans, maybe that BBS thing, maybe some Lost stuff. I don't know. We'll see what my bank account will allow. But I think it's also something to keep in mind if you have a family member or a friend who you might want to get something for their birthday or Christmas or what have you.
It's never too soon to start.
Yeah, this is good for gift giving as well. If you don't see anything for yourself, maybe you see something for someone else. That would be also a great gift to give for somebody else's office to put on their desk. Yeah,
and I think because conventions haven't really happened for the last 2, I know they're starting now, but for 2 years, the kind of people who went to conventions to acquire these kind of items have not A, spent that money to do so, and B, have not spent that money to do so. So that really helps. Cancer Gets Lost right now. I think that's why maybe there's more interest than usual, because we have items that people haven't had access to under normal circumstances.
Well, that is awesome, Jo. Thank you for guiding us through that. It's fun to hear some personal anecdotes about all the items that are in there, and to go through them again made me even want to be like, okay, I got to add that to my list. So that season 5 Lost production notes. Ooh, boy, that's
just saying.
That went up on the top of the list because season 5 is my favorite season of Lost.
I love that season.
See, I love that about you because I think it's underrated. I think it's amazing.
Really? Do people not like season 5? Who are these monsters?
I think they do, but they tend to pick 1 before 5, and I get it because like the whole first season was table building and it was character development. But 5, I think that's where people got literally got lost, and that's fine. But I agree with you on 5. I actually think 3 through 6 are my favorite.
I would probably agree with that.
And
season 2 though has its moments. Yeah,
it has its moments, and season 3 introduces my beloved Juliet. So that's all I'm saying.
Our beloved.
Sorry, we can
we're a Juliet positive podcast.
Fair. Yeah, the only thing that I'll never put in the auction is you'll see behind me is I've got a piece of Oceanic 815. That's the airplane wing. That's a slice of it right there.
So that's what that looks like. You mentioned it on the Legends podcast when we had you on.
It's a super long piece, and that's just a slice right in the middle of it.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's just really I look at it every day and it inspires me. It reminds me what I do, and every single thing I do is in service of the cause, which is cancer affects everyone, as we've talked about. And I want you to know that we're here for you, and this is a way for you to have a little fun, but also support people in your life who have been through cancer, who are going through chemo, who, whether or not they like any of the items in the auction, you can support people like them by participating in the charity auction. Everyone wins. The cancer charity wins, and you win. I mean, literally, you win the item. So I just want to say thank you for bidding, thank you for participating, and thank you for listening. It means the world to me. To Cancer Gets Lost, and to quote Lost, the catchphrase of Lost is "we have to go back." The catchphrase of Cancer Gets Lost is "we have to give back."
I love that.
Aww.
That's perfect. It's almost like someone thought through that, coming from a place of love for the show.
They did, yes.
Well, thank you, Jo. We've taken up so much of your time, but thank you so much for guiding us through that and inspiring us to raise some money and maybe buy some things if we can win some things. But can you just recap real quick how long is the auction going? And what can people expect when they bid on things?
Yes, thank you. The auction is open now through Saturday, August Wow. Saturday, April 9th, not August. And it closes at 2:15 Central Time in the United States. And it closes one item at a time every 30 seconds, numerically and alphabetically. If there's a bid on an item in the final minute, it opens up again for 3 minutes. Thus, a bidding war starts. So it takes an hour or two for the whole thing to close, but it's really fun to watch and very exciting because every cent gets donated to the Colorectal Cancer Alliance in honor of my two friends recovering from colon cancer. All the details are on cancergetslost.org and at Cancer Gets Lost on both Instagram and Twitter.
And did I also see that there was a place to donate as well on the website?
Yes, you can go to Cancer Gets Lost. There's a donate button right at the top there. And if you donate to Cancer Gets Lost in the next month, we will donate all of that to the Colorectal Cancer Alliance and make sure that is bookmarked to donate along with everything else. Because there are people who don't want to participate in the auction. And I get it. It's not for everyone. My aunt in New York is like, I don't know what any of these shows are. Here's the check. Great. I love you. Perfect. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So yeah, even $5, every cent counts. So you can make a donation. You can also go directly to the Colorectal Cancer Alliance and make a donation as well. Either way, we make sure 100% of the money gets there.
That's great. And just one more question, because I'm maybe considering some things. So if somebody in our audience has things they would like to donate to next year's or the next time around for the next auction, how do they go about doing it?
You can DM us on Instagram or Twitter or email us. And our email address is on our website, but also it's pretty easy to remember, cancergetslost@gmail.com.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you again, Jo. We're probably going to kick you out of here so we can get to some Supergirl business because we are Supergirl Radio. So we're going to talk about some Supergirl stuff. But there's a lot of DC items in there. There are a lot of DC items in the auction. So DC fans can have something to bid on if you are willing to participate and maybe have some money to spend. So thank you, Jo, and we will look forward to seeing how things go with the auction, and thank you for everything that you do with that.
Thank you all, and thank you for listening and watching, kind Supergirl and DC fans, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thanks.
Sounds good. All right, we are going to take Jo out, and let's see. I'm going to change my background here. I have a lot of things that I need to bid on, and I'm a little concerned about myself now.
Oh no. And of course the Wheel of Time stuff. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get Mike maybe I'll just be nice and get him a signed script, and then it's all like the most expensive stuff in the auction is the Wheel of Time stuff. And I was like, sorry, Mike. that Mike tells me that I should clarify that it's hashtag Twitter of Time. I thought the hashtag was implied, but those people are serious. Those people are coming in for their Wheel of Time stuff. They're not playing.
You have some competition. Well, we will have to consider what we maybe can win in that auction. So I guess right now, though, we need to maybe get over to some DC TV podcasts and some Supergirl Radio plugs. If you would like to contact Supergirl Radio, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, you can call us at 678-718-7252. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Podchaser, and Spotify, where we also have a Spotify playlist that includes music featured on and inspired by the CW's Supergirl TV series. We are listed on DC's fan page, which you can find at dccomics.com/DC-fans. If you like what we do, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy our Supergirl Radio live streams, make sure to subscribe to the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to get notified when we go live and wired. DC TV Podcast also has a TeePublic store, so if you're in need of new DC TV related t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, onesies, mugs, notebooks, pillows, or stickers, go to supergirlradio.com and click on the TeePublic store link at the top of the page.
Supergirl Radio, Superman and Lois Radio, The Flash Podcast, and Legends of Tomorrow Podcast, Black Lightning Podcast, Batwoman Podcast 2, and Titans and Doom Patrol Podcast just for you. Justice League Dark Podcast, Green Lantern Podcast, Stargirl Podcast, Strange Adventures Podcast, and finally my favorite of the bunch, DC TV After Dark, where you're allowed to say fuck.
Since there's a Kyler Lee item in the Cancer Gets Lost auction, we have some Alex Danvers designs in the T Public store.
Yeah, we want to let people know about the T Public store now, but maybe save up your money for the Kyler Lee pack, the Supergirl
That's
package.
true. Yeah, maybe you want to go in there and get that Supergirl package. There's a lot of stuff in that auction.
So consider that for the T Public store. Just put that in the back of your mind, but maybe save your pennies for the Cancer Gets Lost auction to see if I'm curious if any of our Supergirl Radio listeners will come away with the Supergirl package there on the Cancer Gets Lost auction. Okay, so while we are here, let's thank our Legion of Super sponsors for supporting the Supergirl Radio Patreon. These people are Michael, Sam, Anne Marie, Yvonne, Quinn, Nicola, Leslie, Abby, Ermgard, Miriam, Nicole, Lizette, Faith, Brian, and Ethan. If you would like to become a Supergirl Radio Patreon supporter, you can go to patreon.com/Supergirl Radio. And I guess we're doing this kind of backwards, so this is unfamiliar territory. Usually we do the news up front, but because we were talking to Jo, we wanted to get Jo up top of the episode. So now we have a few things that we need to talk about in terms of Supergirl related news. So now I think we maybe should get to
the news.
So, Earth Prime #1, featuring the CW's Batwoman, is now in comic book shops and on digital platforms. So the description for this issue reads, Ryan Wilder, aka Batwoman, makes her costume comic book debut in a story co-written by series writers Natalie Abrams and Kelly Larson, plus series cast member Cameron Johnson, who is Luke Fox / Batwing, with art by Clayton Henry. Ever since the tech that created many of Batman's rogues hit the streets, Ryan Wilder has been running herself rag trying to contain the new villains popping up around Gotham City. But when Clayface's, making his CW debut, Mud binds itself to a local high schooler, Batwoman will need help from an unexpected source to contain this muddy foe. Also, follow how Luke Fox balances his life as a superhero and a boyfriend. So maybe the unexpected source, I don't know. Could it be Lena Luthor?
I mean, perhaps.
Mayhaps. It was Lena Luthor.
No spoilers in this issue, but we can, I think, mention that Lena Luthor is in the issue. So if you want to see Katie McGrath, or I should say, if you want to see a Lena Luthor based upon, I think, the likeness of Katie McGrath and the Supergirl TV show version of Lena, you can pick up Earth Prime Batwoman, I believe, #1.
Yeah, and I'm just going to hop in here. I'm going to quickly boardroom or ballroom this Lena Luthor.
Please do. Well, actually, hang on.
Thank you.
All right, all right, give me a second.
And now, Lena Luthor, boardroom or ballroom.
Got to make that official.
This is a Lena Luthor who means business. This is head business boss Lena Luthor. She's coming in here because she's going for business reasons, maybe. But she's also good with advice, and you can tell that because she's come correct. So she's got like a 3-piece suit. She's like, no, 2 pieces will not do for me, Lena Luthor. 3 pieces or bust. She's got a tie. So she's like, you know what? This was a great look in the 80s. And this is a great look now. It's a great look anytime. This is a classic. and it's not quite Luthor purple, because she's turned a new page in her life book. She's like, no, it's me from the Lena Luthor Foundation now. I'm doing other stuff. I'm not taking over as many minds. And so this is me. This is the more laid back business me. And so it's kind of a pinkish, I would say. Would you say?
Yeah, it's not quite a deep purple. It is.
Yeah, there's
more of
a
pink.
there's some purple tones to it, but it's more pink. And it made me think, like, I don't know that we saw Lena Luthor in a lot of pink on the show, but I feel like it would be a great color for Katie McGraw's like vibe. Like, I think that pink would work really well on her. And then I spent like a lot of time being like, why didn't they put her in any pink? And then I went down, like, I was like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be reading this for like the content, not for the fashion. But anyway, so she looks great the whole time. If you're like, I can't wait to see Lena in comic book form, and you're wondering, will she be showing up in boardroom or will she be showing up in ballroom? It is strictly boardroom that she shows up in. So I just want you to set your expectations accordingly.
And this has been
Lena Luthor, boardroom or ballroom. Now, Rebecca, did you read the comic?
So I did, because we did get several messages to the Supergirl Radio account. Even just right before we went live on YouTube and Facebook, got a message from a couple of people saying, is Supergirl Radio going to cover it? So I think we probably will. It seems like there's demand for it, and
the people requested.
It is related to the show, which is our primary thing that we cover here. So I think we probably should, if that's okay with you. So we'll talk about the actual content of the issue. There's a development about the Lena Luthor Foundation that was
we get some clues.
Yeah, about what it is, which I'm going to be honest, just the spoiler or teaser for us covering it. I'm a little disappointed it's not a Witch's Summer Camp.
Witch for a Summer. I had my heart set on it, and now will I ever be the same? No.
So yeah, maybe we will cover that issue in the near future, possibly. Can't determine which date that will be happening. We'll have to look at our schedule and see where we can fit it in, but that will probably be happening at some point. Let's see. And we also have some Supergirl cast news that we should probably talk about. I kind of don't want to talk about every project that the actors are in, like every time they get a new role. But maybe since, it's after the show's ended and people want to know where they can find some of the cast, this is probably still a good time to do it. So let's get an update on Floriana Lima. In Supergirl cast news, according to Deadline.com, Floriana Lima, who played Maggie Sawyer on the CW Supergirl TV series, is set to be one of the leads of Blank Slate, a drama pilot from NBC. Blank Slate draws some parallels to long-running NBC series, The Blacklist. In Blank Slate, Special Agent Alexander McCoy, which is a pretty great name, played by actor Matt Passmore, is a legend in law enforcement. The agent we all hope is out there, the agent we'd all like to be. The only issue is he doesn't actually exist. He's a ghost. A phantom. So what happens when a man claiming to be Alexander McCoy walks through the door with all of his skills and knowledge, but with an agenda nobody will see coming? So that's what Blank Slate,
Can I just
Floriana's new drama is about.
Can I just say that it warms my heart that Veronica, the description writer, has found another job?
You think that's her? That might be her.
I think it's Veronica because it has that little bit
has
of
her
spice
voice.
to it. It has that voice. Veronica, is that you? I don't know what this thing is about, but she intrigued me. The agent we all would want to be. I don't even want to be an agent, but now she's got me going, I guess I would want to be like this guy, a ghost, a phantom.
Yeah, so it's interesting. NBC seems to do a lot of shows based on the idea of the Blacklist, because there was I can't remember what it was called, but there was a new show with Marina Baccarin where they were like, "Oh, this is kind of like the Blacklist." So NBC
were like,
basically
we
just
really
makes shows
loved
like the Blacklist.
The Blacklist. Could we just kind of make that show 10 times and no one will notice? Yes, we are NBC.
So Floriana Lima is I don't know when they start shooting that. Maybe they already have, but it seems like that's a pilot that will, I guess, be determined whether or not it goes to series or not. So
I'm now intrigued enough to be like, maybe we should do at some point, if this ever goes on
a
air,
pilot pod
a pilot pod
for Blank Slate.
Because I'll be honest, having read that description, beautifully written by Veronica, I could not tell you what that show is about. Not even if my life was in danger, could I tell you what that show is. So I kind of just want to know now. Like they've hooked me. I don't. What do you mean he's a ghost? What do you mean he's not real? Did they make up an agent that they told all the other agents about? They were like, they're like you do for a small child when you want them to eat their supper, where they're like, well, you know who would never mess up this mission? Agent Alexander McCoy. He is out there he's the agent you want to be, that you wish you could be. And then like one day he comes in and like everybody's like, oh my God, we've been making up this guy this whole time. But there he is. As amazing as we've said. He like comes in like riding a white horse. He flips his hair back.
I want that show to be about the guys who made up Alexander McCoy. Like I want them to be like the main cast.
I just imagine it's like everybody's in agent school and somebody messed up and the teacher walks up to him and he goes, "You're no McCoy," with like disgust, and he walks away. And then he like just goes into the teacher's lounge and they were like, "You're right, that McCoy thing works great." Like, what is that? What the show is?
We could do that. We could do pilot pods of all the new shows that the casts join.
That's
that
true.
We could.
Well,
do,
I'm already excited about Katie McGraw, John Wick. So
and Melissa Benoist's bus show.
Oh, that's right.
Buses. The non-Pan Am bus show. Yes, that's all I remember of our conversation.
You just you got to get on those buses and do that kind of stuff on there.
Yeah.
The writing, I think she was a reporter.
Yeah, I think she's going to be a journalist of some kind. Yes,
I think so.
Yes, riding on the bus. So yeah, we will maybe consider doing some pilot pods. I think that would be really. I think now we might just become like Alexander McCoy Radio. I think so.
I think so too. It's like, why did they make a whole podcast about Alexander McCoy? It's like, is he even real? We start like our own conspiracy podcast. And it's all about Alexander McCoy, whether or not he's real. We're the official tie-in podcast for this show that may or may not ever get picked up.
I actually really like that idea. We should do
that. Let's take this offline and pitch it to NBC.
Okay, so that is what Floriana Lima is up to. So if you want to catch that, make sure to be like us and keep your eyes peeled for Blank Slate.
Set a Google News alert for Alexander McCoy.
I'm into it. I think we should watch it.
We're gonna solve this mystery. I believe in us.
Okay, well, I guess we should talk about our personal plugs and where people can find us in the meantime. So you can find me on the social media platform Vero at Derby Kid. I am also on Instagram at The Derby Kid. And you can find me on YouTube at my personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/duckmilkprod, where I'm currently doing a series on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I read through Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice reviews written by the top critics of Rotten Tomatoes. They're all negative. They're all rotten reviews, and they're not very good. But we talk about art criticism and how to review something, and I think it's beneficial if you're interested in that kind of thing. And I think I counted it up the other day. I think I have something like 24 out of 38 finished.
Whoa.
So I still have a lot to go. So if you want to join me with the live stream format on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, there's still quite a bit of Batman v Superman to go through. So if you're into that kind of thing, feel free to join me.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Mojotastic. If you want to see me pondering about Alexander McCoy, I'm going to be spending a lot of time on Twitter doing that, I think, for the near future.
What's the hashtag for that? Is there?
Oh my God!
Like hashtag who is Alexander McCoy or something?
I think that's
too long.
It might be too long. I don't know. We're gonna workshop that.
We're gonna workshop that.
We're gonna workshop that hashtag because I'm gonna be using it extensively. I'm gonna be the only person on NBC's radar talking about this show.
Tag NBC in all of your posts.
I'm gonna become the official influencer for.
Can we get somebody to draw like a sketch of what?
I will draw a sketch of what I think Alexander McCoy will look like, but it'll be like just a smiley face with like 2 strands of hair.
I'm imagining. Have you ever seen that news story? The guys who used to do the auto-tune the news on YouTube. They did a video about it, but it was a news story in Mobile, Alabama, where it was like St. Patrick's Day, maybe. And they were like interviewing these people who thought they saw a leprechaun.
Yes, it's one of the best. It's one of the best.
And when you see the sketch of what the leprechaun looked like,
it's just like 2 eyes and a hat.
Wait, let me see if I can find it. This is really important that we find this.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh my gosh, that is what I'm going to be doing. But
that's what I imagine that the Alexander McCoy is going to look like. Let's see if I can find it here.
They were like, "What did he?" Yes, exactly. It's just 2 eyes and a hat. Amateur sketch. That's what it's going to be for my amateur sketch of Alexander McCoy. You can,
and then I think you need to make that sketch.
I'm gonna do it.
I think you need to make that sketch your profile picture.
I may be committing too hard to this bit, but I think everyone's gonna enjoy it so much. It's only gonna be us that care about this. I'm bringing up Alexander McCoy probably in every subsequent episode, so get ready. My sketch will like slowly over time get more and more detailed until it's like beautiful, like something you'd see in the Sistine Chapel. Just like more and more round smiley faces. So anyway, so you're gonna want to tune in for that, and then also I'm a co-host on the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, where I think I can get some McCoy content in there as well if I really work hard. And then also DC TV After Dark. So on Legends, I believe we are recording. Actually, we're recording an episode about the Earth Prime #1 pretty soon, and also doing our fan feedback episode. We planned to do it last time, but our last episode ran really long, and we're like, I don't know if anyone wants to listen to like a 4-hour podcast episode, only if it was about Alexander McCoy, which at that point it was not. It was not. You know,
Alexander McCoy.
I hadn't discovered this new obsession in my life, and so the next one will be obviously.
Okay, good.
I'm committed. That's where you can find me.
Well, that sounds good. I am looking forward to the Alexander McCoy television universe. To see where he might show up next. All right. Well, I think that is going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. A real diverse set of topics.
We got all over the place.
Supergirl Radio really covered a wide swath of television for everybody. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon, and we hope you'll bid on something in the Cancer Gets Lost charity auction.
McGurk! I love
Not
typing.
mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira.
I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because her outfit.
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Is Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yeah!